looking a bit pensive right there. Sulky looking actually pretty normal, like he's queuing up for a ladder match almost. Very calm player. Of course, he did just win GSL last week. And that's a pretty big accomplishment, I have to say. Definitely the best player in the world right now, up there with Innovation. Definitely the best Zerg. But TLO, his results get better and better and better. I think he probably has the healthiest mindset out of every pro. Yeah, pretty much. He's very healthy in body and mind. Really works on that. Very smart training regimens. Good outlook on the game and all that. So I think that's why we're seeing so many great results from him. Will it continue here against Sulky, though? You know, one of the nice things again about playing someone like the champion in a tournament like this, no one's really expecting TLO to end up taking it. So that takes a lot of pressure off of you, believe it or not. There's definitely been some games in the past when I was a StarCraft 1 pro where I played against world champions in these Foreigner versus Korea things, and there's really not much pressure. You can play a pretty good game because you just know you're going to lose. It doesn't matter. So because of the perceived lack of pressure of playing against the current champion Sulky, can TLO play his absolute best to take him out? Alright, let's introduce these players. In the top right of Neoplanet S, it is our German Zerg. He is
Liquid TLO from Europe.
And then in the bottom left, our red Zerg player. He is
Wongjin Star Soki from Korea.
Yes, indeed. So, have to see exactly what builds these guys are going for. TLO actually going for a 10 Overlord. Alright, well, the 9 Overlord from Sulky, a little bit better, economically speaking, but the 10 Overlord, some people do prefer that. It does give you slightly more minerals at a different, earlier moment in the game. So far, pretty much the same. Right now, I'm basically just waiting to see what TLO's opener is. Like, when does he make the pool? When does he make the hatchery? That's, you know, as I was saying before, we have so many Zergs in this tournament. I feel like we're going to learn a lot about what ZVZ really is, because since the patch change, making the Spore Crawlers a lot better against Mutalisks, we haven't seen very many ZVZs at the highest level. So I feel like this weekend is going to kind of stabilize the metagame, where it's at, how people are playing. And TLO goes for the hatchery first again, which is kind of neat, because Sulky got to see him go hatchery first a lot against Stefano. And if he shows it game 1, does Sulky counter it game 2? In which case, does TLO already have accounted for that? And then counter what could counter it? Like, you know, the kind of little, the dance, the tactical wheel. A lot of mind games can go on there. And in fact, sometimes you can outthink yourself. Like, for instance, Sulky may actually end up going pool hatch every game in this series, because he may think, I am so much better than TLO that I can take the slightly bad end that's a little bit safer in some circumstances and a little bit worse in some circumstances, and I can take both those positions and win from them. Okay, so TLO this game, a little bit unlike the others as well. He got that gas a bit earlier, as I was mentioning. Now, what is he going to do with the earlier gas? Because he got the gas a bit later against Stefano on Belshir in that last series, yet still went for the aggression. So we'll see if this is just for speed. You know, he could go speed into Banelings and do a little bit of a pressure attack. And, of course, he could do something completely different, like a very fast layer or something. But I feel like TLO is not a fast layer guy. And, in fact, he's already stopped mining gas. So this is probably just going to be for speed. And the Overlord saw he was mining gas, so he doesn't actually need to start speed yet. He can if he likes, but he may time it out based upon what he sees from Sulky. And in fact, he just checked Sulky's gas, and Sulky has taken the gas but mined nothing from it and is mining nothing from it. So what does this mean? In fact, with Sulky's side, I don't know what this means, but from TLO's side, he was waiting to see what Sulky was doing with gas to make his own decision. And we see now what his decision was. A second gas and a Roach Warren. It does look like he's going to do the same all-in that we saw against Stefano on this map. And that could be because the gas is so late for Sulky that he's expecting that Sulky is going to be late on, getting any roaches out. And will he have enough spines against a Roach Bane attack? It's really hard to say. Alright, so we have those roaches in production. It's important to note on the minimap where Sulky's overlords are. What information will he have? When will he have that information? Now notice he's sending the queen this way. I'm getting chills right now, I swear to God. He is actually sending the queen down to hunt this overlord, because if he gets rid of that overlord and goes on that path, Sulky will not see this in time to make the appropriate units. Notice how he pulls the roaches back. He doesn't want the overlord to see these roaches. But this is a tell, this is a giveaway in and of itself that he's sending a queen this far out. Why are you sending a queen this far out? The Roach Warren is about to finish for Sulky. Let's see how many roaches he actually ends up making. Because he has a perfect wall against Zergling attacks, but roach attacks will crush that wall. TLO making a lot of lings. Okay, now he's pushed it back far enough. He's decided the timing is now. He has to get going. And in fact, the interesting thing here is it's not exactly the same as before because he doesn't have the Baneling Nest. So this isn't going to be an all-in. This is just going to be a very heavy attack. Now, nice move there, making a bigger wall behind. Nice transfuse is going down. And this is just slowing him down. Sulky needs to get his own units out. And in fact, going after the Roach Warren, that is kind of cute. Now, don't forget, there are going to be Broodlings coming out. So he's going to have to back up against those, and that buys Sulky even more time. So he gets to cancel these, he has his roaches out, and he actually made a spine crawler on the high ground there as well, which would have helped out if TLO came back. And in fact, TLO made a few more lings, so he'll probably poke again, but once he gets hit by a spine on high ground and sees all these roaches in this small path, he will not continue the attack. And this will go into a layer tech game. So see, he sees that, no reason, too cost inefficient going in there, backs up. Okay, so TLO going for the Spire, whereas Sulky right now remaking his Roach Warren and going double Evo, range attack and carapace. So we're going to see kind of the classic battle of ground versus Muta in the matchup. So this is getting pretty cool. We're going to have to see, is Sulky going to go for like a Roach bust right before the mutas or right during the mutas, which keeps the mutas at home? And then how many spores does he make? Does he go into Infestor or just stay on Hydra? These are all very important questions. Now with TLO, how many mutas is he actually going to commit to? And in fact, did you just see that 2 spines going to be going up for him? Those 2 spines are because he realizes, okay, the amount of roaches you have has actually grown since the last time I saw them, which means you're staying roaches. These aren't just defensive roaches into mutas. This is actually roach tech from Sulky. So really good scouting with this Overseer. He has so much information right now. But the one thing that TLO did do right before that got scouted was start Roach Speed. So that's a little bit of misinformation. And Roach Speed is a good thing to have anyways, because you can't stay on Mutalisk all game like you could before the patch. So we'll have to see if he can actually hold on here. Of course, at third base, if it ever gets attacked, will just have to be canceled. This is a lot of roaches, but those 2 spines going to help out immensely. Good surface area there by TLO. He wants to have those spines always hitting. And it looks like he has enough to defend here completely. In fact, with the lings and roaches, he's getting a lot of extra hits. This is going really well in TLO's favor, I would say. This is very nice. And now he's going to have map control. Even though we have better upgrades for Sulky and we do see a supply advantage, that supply advantage is primarily in roaches. And roaches, the longer the game goes, the less they matter. So now he just has to turn around and run away. He's about to have his own roach speed, so he doesn't have to lose these roaches. But it looks like he's going to keep them here just to slow these roaches down so his Mutalisk can get more hits. And that's smart until the speed is done. And then he may want to get out, but it looks like he's already lost too many, and it's not going to be doable. But with this many mutas, the roaches can't really do significant damage. They might have been able to go in and kill that third, and in fact, I love this, bringing the queens, because the queens do take the same upgrades as the roaches, and with that many transfuses, his roaches aren't going to die and his queens aren't going to die very easily. So TLO actually has to just make nothing but mutas right now with his gas, if possible, because he has to overwhelm the queens. There's no way he's going to overwhelm the roaches. So the third base, he should just consider basically dead. And I think at this point that, yeah, he just canceled the larva because he realized, okay, this third, there's no way to defend. This is the only possible location to defend, but I'm not sure he's even going to be able to do that against this many queens with this many transfuses. And in fact, with that Nidus Worm being made right now, the rally is just going to come so quickly. He's going to have creep to work with. He's going to be able to throw down a creep tumor, and then his queens are going to be even quicker. It's really a good scenario for him. So, yeah, I don't know how theoretically from this position TLO can hold either. There's so much transfuse. So he's trying to utilize these spine crawlers as much as he possibly can. It just looks like there's too much damage here, and with the transfuses, he can't stop this. The queens will pick off all of the mutas, and it looks like we're gonna have to see a GG coming out of TLO pretty quick. And there you have it. All right, kind of a cool one to open up with, I think. Some of the points that I really liked. TLO mined 100 gas, and then he scouted exactly the gas timings of Skull Keep to decide what strategy he wanted to go for. At first, I thought it was the same build as before because he grabbed that second gas, but it turns out he wanted to go into layer and just put on pressure with the roaches and the zerglings. Now, that may have been the follow-up build for Neoplanet S from what he did against Stefano.